The next thing we're going to do is inside of the third person character. We got a lot of work that we're going to do in here. We're going to redo a lot of systems. So, number one, I missed in the last update. I optimized the shooting, and I forgot to add in an event. It's called server reset shooting. So inside of here, where you shoot your gun, there's an input action primary attack, and there's a release. And I forgot to call after the is firing defaults. It's a, what did I say it's called? Oops, server reset shooting. Yeah, so let's call that server reset shooting. That's kind of a big deal. So there we go. That'll fix one thing there, which calls this, which is all good. Now the next one was we already did this fix, and the movement speed. There was a movement speed stutter problem that occurred when I added in one of the previous updates. It's a really easy fix, but let me show you what happens in game. Delete that. Hit play. Basically, when you're... Oh, I have to be as a client. Let me run it as dedicated. I believe what happens is... You see that jitter? Stuttering back and forth. Easy fix. So you're basically fighting over a replicated variable between yourself and the server. So to fix it, you come up to the top and under player movement, I believe. Yeah, player movement. There's a input axis move forward, and all the way at the end of this there's an set is sprinting to false and update movement speed. All we have to do is call one event, and let me just double check that I'm doing this exactly like I did on the update. Right after, you just call stop sprinting. So right after the update movement speed, we're just going to call the event called stop sprinting, and that will fix the stutter. And I'll hop in the game real quick just to show you. So now when you go to sprint, no more stutter. Alright, easy fix. Alright, next fix. Projectile weapons, the same way you did shotguns and stuff. And yeah, we're gonna get to that. Stop sprinting, did that. Alright, so let's see. We have to rework some of this stuff. So the first thing we're gonna do is, come on, the bullet fire. We're gonna rework how the bullets and the hit events work. So first we're gonna open up the bullet, where is it, bullet, fire bullet, yeah, fire bullet function. I'm gonna close some of these so that way you can see what I'm doing a little better. Alright, so you were in the event graph, now we're in the fire bullet graph. So what this does, when you shoot your bullet, or you shoot your gun, it says, is it a shotgun? If it is, it does this. If it's a hit scan projectile, it does this. If it's a projectile, it does nothing. And if it's not any of those, then it's just a normal weapon. We're gonna be redoing this this whole system here. Nothing too scary. So to start off with, we're going to open up the, let me show you how I did it real quick. Fire bullet. We're going to be making a new struct. So the new struct is, we're going to call it the bullet hit struct. And to do that, you have to do it in an actual blueprint. I think I'm going to put mine in core blueprints. Is that where I put it? I'm trying to make sure I do everything the same. Keep everybody on the same thing. Yeah, bullet hit info, I believe. Yeah. Alright, so inside of core blueprints, all levels, we're going to right click and we're going to make a blueprint structure. Blueprint structure. And bullet hit info is what we're going to call it. Open it up. And this is all the info that we're going to send in one nice packet of information across the network when you shoot your gun. So the first variable is going to be called the hit actor, and it's going to be set to the actor type. Actor. The next one is going to be called bone hit, and it's going to be the name. Bone name. Or bone hit, and it's a type of name. And then the next one is hit location. It's a vector. And changes to vector. The next one is hit rotation, and it's set to vector. Vector. And then the next one is the physical material that you actually hit, and its type, of course, is physical material. Just gotta type it in. There it is. And then we also have damage of type float. Float. And there we go. These are all, we're gonna save that. These are what we're gonna pass along to the server once we get done shooting our weapon. Okay, now we'll go back into here and we're going to do some work here. So everything stays the same just about, except for we're not going to be using the bullet hit event anymore. So right now you'll have this, this, and this, but we're going to take this bullet hit event and delete it. We don't need that. And what we're going to do instead is we're going to calculate the damage. So we're going to, if we can just call that, right click, type in calculate damage, and off the true pin plug this in. The distance of the break hit result plugs into the distance there, and then we're just going to take that bullet hit structure and add stuff into it. First we have to make that bullet hit structure, so make a new variable. We'll call it bullet hit structure. Did I actually name it? Bullet hit struct? Oh, bullet hit struct. My bad. I spelled it wrong here anyways. Bullet hit struct. And the variable type is going to be our bullet hit info. It should just pull up here. Click that. And then beside the variable we're going to change it to an array. So we click the drop down and click the square for an array. And compile and save. Now we can drag this bullet hit struct in, and we can drag off of it and type in add, and we want to add to this array, and we're going to right click the blue pin and hit split struct pin, and then connect the calculate damage into this new add pin. So now we can add the info of our hits into this array, or this structure. So as you can see here, we're going to put impact point is going to go into the hit location, normal goes into rotation. So impact point, hit location, hit rotation goes into normal, the bone hit goes into the hit bone name, hit actor goes into hit actor, physical material goes into physical material, hit actor, and then damage will just connect up here to our calculate damage. And there we go. Alright, so now that we have that done, now we have to do a couple more things. So let's look. We have to do this new event called server apply bullet hit. Alright, so we're going to come over back to the event graph, and I'm going to do it off to the side of all this just so I have space, and then you can move it wherever you want. So custom event, let me zoom in, server apply bullet hit. I think that's what I said it was called. Yep. It's run on server. So we click it, change it to run on server. Okay. And then we gotta make an input called bullet hit struck. And it's gonna have the same, it's gonna be that variable that we just made earlier. Bullet hit struck. And the type of bullet hit info. Boop. And we're gonna make it an array. Boop. Compile. Save. Alright, so we create this new event called server apply bullet hit, and we're going to make it run on server, and then we got to set the bullet hit struck. So what we're going to do is come in here and drag this in, set it, connect it. We also want to make this a replicated. Check the replication for replicated. Go. And next we have to run a for each loop for this. Let's do that. So we drag off of that for each loop. Drag off of the bullet hit struck right there. And for each of the hits, we're going to be doing, we're going to break the info and we're going to add it into some more structs. We're going to break that. Alright, so now we got to break some, we're going to create a couple more structs so that way we can pass this information to the different things we need in one big message or one smaller message. So right where we created the bullet hit info, we're going to create another one called bullet gib info. So right click, actually let's just duplicate bullet hit info. We'll call it bullet gib info. Open it up, and I believe all we need for gibbing is the actor, the bone name, and the damage. So we can get rid of hit location, hit rotation, physical material. All we need is hit actor, bone hit, and damage. Very nice. Save that. And let's duplicate it, the bullet hit info again. Duplicate. We're going to call this one bullet impact point info. So let's call it bullet impact point info. It's a mouthful. Basically the impact point. And inside this one, all we need is the location, rotation, and physical material. So we get rid of hit actor, like get rid of bone, get rid of damage. All we need is the location, rotation, physical material. Save that. And I believe that might be it. So let's go back to third person now. Got to create some variables. So right click, click the variable button here to add a new variable. And what do I call this? I call it impact hit points. So this new variable will be called impact hit points. Drag it in and get it, and then drag off of that and type an add. Then split the structure. And now we got to plug these things in. So basically you just plug in the same things. Hit actor goes to hit actor, bone goes to bone, location goes to location, rotation goes to rotation. Wait, why is, hold on, hold on, we gotta change the type. I forgot. We didn't change the variable type. So impact hit points, we gotta change bullet impact point info. Thinking about changing, and it does. There it is. Okay. Impact hit point. And then we're going to make another. Now we can drag off of it and add and split. There we go. It was given the too much information because we had it set to the wrong variable type, but now it's set to bullet impact point. So now we connect the loop body into this, and we connect the hit location to this, and the rotation, and the physical material. And there we go. Okay. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to add the bullet gib info. We got to create a new variable called bullet gib info. Bullet gib info. We got to change the type this time to bullet gib info. Okay. Compile so that way it'll refresh the variable. And we're going to drag bullet gib info and do the same sort of thing that we did with the other, where we just add to the array. And this one, when we split the struct pin, we have hit actor, and we have bone hit, and we have damage. Alright, so basically what this does, runs on server, takes all of the hits that your bullet got. For each one, it adds them into these other structs. We got a struct just for impact, where we're going to play effects, and we got a struct for gibbing, which will determine if it, how you get your points, how the zombie gets dismembered, stuff like that. Alright, so now we got to do something with them. So once it's complete, we're going to call an event called damage all hit actors. We're going to have to make that. So right click, custom event, damage all hit actors. It doesn't have to be replicated because we're already on the server, so when we call it, all's going to be good. So then up here on the completed, drag off and type in damage all hit actors and call it like that. And now we have to put stuff in it. So first we're going to do a check for friendly fire. So branch, friendly fire, we right click, get friendly fire, plug it in. Then we have to do a for each loop for the bullet hit struct. So for each loop, bullet hit struct goes into the array. So if there is friendly fire, then it's just going to damage everything. So we're going to break this bullet hit info, drag off of the array element, break, hit the drop down arrow, and then we have to check to see if we got a headshot or not. So drag off of the bone hit, type in equal equal, and then we're going to drag off of this and do or boolean, drag off of the bone again, equal equal, and the two names are head and neck 01. So we're going to check if you hit them in the head or the neck, then damage them with double the damage. So we just take the damage, drag off, hit the multiplication, float times float, 2. This value could be whatever you want. If you want double the damage for headshots, or if you don't even want headshots like this, you could take that out. It's just a little quick way of adding it in. So now we just need a new branch. We plug in, connect the OR condition to it, and on the loop here, connect that in. And we're going to apply damage. So let's do this. Right click, apply damage, true, copy, paste, false. So if you did get a headshot, the damage is the one that comes off of the ×2. If you didn't, it's just the normal damage that comes off of the bullet break info struct. We also need our controller. because that's going to be our instigator, I believe. Yep. Instigator and damage causer for both. And the last thing to plug in is the hit actor. That's actually receiving the damage. Plug that into the hit actor. And that should do it for one pin, the true pin of this friendly fire. So if you shoot, it'll damage anybody. Now we want one, if friendly fire is false, I mean you don't want to shoot your teammates, then we got to put in an extra condition and to make sure you don't shoot your teammates. So it's the exact same thing, all we're going to do is just add in one more check for third person. So all you have to do is copy all this, copy, paste, off the false, you come down here to loop, alright, and all you do is you just check, you add one more branch off of this, so you drag off of this, type in branch, the condition is you drag off a hit actor, type in cast to third person, right click the third person node and convert to pure cast down here on the bottom. Boop. And then you just simply connect the success to the branch, and I think we're going to connect the false. Yeah. Connect the false to the there. Disconnect the true. So what this means is for every bullet that's shot and that's hit something, and for every hit you're going to check, did you hit a third person character? If not, then you can damage it. If you did hit it, then do nothing. Alright, and that covers the damage part. Done. So, next part is we have to play the impact effects. So, we already have an existing play impact effects, but as you can see it's going to be different than the other one. So in the event graph there is a, come on autosave, a play impact effects here. We're going to reuse all this, we're just going to change up this. So this right here, server play impact effects, client play impact effects, delete these two, don't need those. The client play impact effects, we're going to change it to I believe not replicated. Oh, it is set to multicast, never mind. Okay, leave it as multicast, but we are going to rename it. We're going to take the word client off of it. It's just going to be called play impact effects, and we are going to change the inputs here. So we're going to take them all off except for one, so we don't need any of this. Actually, the easiest way to do this is to leave them on, create an input, and then we'll just move them to our new input. So, what did I call this? Impact points. So we're going to call this new input impact points, and of course it's bullet impact point info is the variable type, and we're going to disconnect it, move it over a little bit, drag off. We'll do it for each loop. Plug in the impact points. Now, what we need to do is we need to drag off the array element and break it. There we go. Click the, now all we have to do is, you can hold control and hover, and control and hold left click, and you can click and move location over here to hit location. And you can hold control and then click and hold and drag rotation over to rotation, and same with physical material right there. Then you don't have to redo the wires. It's so nice. Okay. Then you can click on play impact effects and you can delete these inputs that we don't need. All of them except for the one we just made. Okay. Now the only thing else is you just connect it up. Loop body goes into here, which gets the impact effects, spawns the emitter. And I might have put a little bit of check here. So right now, every time you hit a zombie, it will spawn a blood decal, and it'll fall down and hit the ground and make blood splatter. I don't think you need that for every single bullet that hits a zombie. I mean, it looks cool, but to adjust performance, I'm gonna change it up a little bit. So what I do, or what I did here, is make it random. So it'll only spawn blood sometimes. So right after you spawn the impact effect, we are going to right click, get a random integer. All you do is random int in range, like this. And I'm just going to do 0 to 10, and I'm going to say if it's less than or equal to 8, then we'll spawn one. So we'll come into here, and then we'll connect it up. So true will spawn, false will not spawn. So true connects to the bind event, false skips the bind event and just goes straight into the rest. Alright, so that will do that. Now we have to go all the way back to where we were working before. And you'll notice you're going to have some compile errors until we get to the point where we'll fix those. So, now we're back at the event, the server apply bullet hit, and after the for each loop is done and completed, you'll damage all hit actors, and then you want to also play impact effects, and then you want to plug in impact effects. So impact hit points, we'll go into impact points here, and then there's only one more thing I think we have to do. Dismember the enemies. Alright, so we gotta make one more event called custom event. Dismember enemies. Doesn't have to be replicated because it's already on the server. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna get the bullet gib info. Bullet gib info. For each loop. There we go. Same as same old. Break the hit result. And what we're going to do is we're just going to call the handle enemy was hit. So we right click, handle enemy was hit message. And we're going to connect the loop into this. Connect the hit actor to who hit to target. The bone to the bone, damage to the damage, and who hit us is ourselves, so we just get controller and then connect that in like that. Alright, and then we go back up to the top and we're gonna call it right after we just did right where we did our impact effects. So damage, play impact, dismember enemies. And then all you have to do now is clear the arrays. So that way when you shoot again, it's a fresh new array. I'm just gonna copy these and paste them here. So you got your bullet hit. All you do is you just drag these in and hit, and then drag off and type clear. So you clear each one. You clear the bullet hit struct, you clear the bullet gib info, and you clear the impact hit points. Alright, now we got that. Now we got to clean up some stuff in the fire bullet. So in the fire bullet function, where we just did our new calculate damage and stuff, we have to call this new server apply bullet hit. So let's do that. So after the bullet trace, you do the for each loop, and then after complete, we do server apply bullet hit. And we want the bullet hit struct to go right here, plugged into the bullet hit struct. And then we're just going to clear it one more time to be safe. So we take this, get it, clear it, Plug it in. There we go. Now, that was just for the normal weapon, but good thing is we pretty much do the same thing for the other weapons as well. So, all you have to do is, for hit scan, it's the exact same. And for shotgun, I believe it's almost the exact same, but not exactly. It's, let's see. It's the exact same except for it loops back around, so let's do that. So hit scan, right here under hit scan, we're just going to, we'll leave the bullet trace, but we're going to delete all the stuff after it. And then we're just going to copy everything from normal, the normal normal weapon, and put it all in there too. Copy, paste. Connect it up, bullet trace goes into this for each loop. That's done. We're going to add more to the projectile in a second. We'll come back to it. And basically for the shotgun, we're just going to delete the bullet hit event. Don't need that. Technically we can just everything under the bullet trace. For the for each, the break, this, delete that. Paste in what we just did a second ago. Connect it up. And we have to do one more thing. We gotta, once it's completed, what we just pasted in, it's gonna check the pellet count of the shotgun to see if you gotta shoot any more shotgun pellets. If false, it'll loop back around. If true, it does that new functionality we got. So let's just move this up a little bit so we can see what the heck we're doing. So it completes the for each loop. It comes down here and says pellet count equal to current weapon shot count. And if true, we're going to put this new server apply bullet hit and then clear struct. If false, it'll loop back around and just keep shooting all the other bullets. This all happens within like all at the same time, just about. So it'll shoot like 8. This will shoot 8 bullets until it's done, and then it'll say, "Oh, I shot all 8 bullets," and then it'll apply the hits for those bullets. Okay, so that's all of the weapons there. Let's compile, save. Go back to the event graph. I'm sure there's some stuff we gotta tidy up. For example, the bullet hit event. We don't need this event anymore. So there's a function, or a bullet hit function, I believe, on the left side. Bullet hit event. Yeah. We don't need it anymore. So bullet hit event function, right click it, delete it, compile, save, and we're going to fix up projectiles. I believe that covers everything that we needed for the server. I mean for the normal shooting stuff. Normal weapons, line trace weapons. So now we're going to do the projectile weapons. So in the primary fire and shoot, you have an input action primary attack. And if you find the event below it called primary attack pressed, we are going to scroll all the way over until we find this little check here. Right after fire bullet, we have a branch that checks for projectile weapon. And we don't want to do that anymore. We're going to delete the branch and the 2 things below it and the spawn projectile. Done. And we're going to connect fire bullet straight into increase spread. Alright. And now right below it, where it says spawns projectile for projectile weapons, we are going to leave the server spawn projectile, but we're going to uncheck reliable. We're also going to, and right below, we don't need spawn projectile, or the switch has authority, or for the server spawn projectile. All we need is, check my notes here, we're going to do something different. So we don't need the projectile bullet trace either. So all we need is this one event called server spawn projectile, and we're just going to leave it here for now. We're going to come back to it in a second. So back in the fire bullet function, where we just did all this new this new stuff functionality. First it checks for shotgun, then it checks for hit scan, then it checks for projectile, and it doesn't have anything plugged in here. We're actually going to put the logic in there now. So let me just move this down, clear it up a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Now we got space to put projectile stuff. So what we're going to do is we are going to run the projectile bullet trace. So drag off a projectile, the true pin, and say projectile bullet trace. And then we're going to server spawn projectile. So we drag off, call in server spawn projectile. We're going to double click it just to go back to it real quick. So we have to make two inputs on it. First one is going to be starting point, and this is going to be a vector. Oh, not a rotator, a vector. And we don't want it to be an array, we just want it to be a single variable. Click that little button there, make another input, we'll call it end point, make it a vector. Alright, now we need to gotta set these variables. Set trace start location and trace end location. So we're going to drag off and say set trace start location to the starting point. Same with the end point. Set trace end location. Connect that. And then the last thing we gotta do is call select projectile type. So then we drag off here. Select projectile type. There we go. Compile that. We gotta go back to fire bullet. We gotta plug in the start and the end points now. So you basically just get these variables and plug them in. So you just get trace start. Should be at the trace start location. Same with the end. Plug it in. And you would think that would be it, but there's a little bit more we gotta do. We gotta double click the projectile bullet trace, and it'll open this function up. This is the actual bullet trace for the projectile. And we're gonna take some stuff out that we don't need. So at the end here you have the return node, and then you have multi-line trace by channel. We're going to get rid of this multi-line trace by channel. All of this gone. And we're also going to click and hold control, and then click and hold your left mouse and move this over to the return, and then just get rid of select projectile type. Done. So when it's done, you should have two little sections, one up here that connects, one up here that connects, and you're good. Compile and save, and that I believe is it for the shooting update. That'll improve network performance like crazy for shooting bullets. Just check my notes real quick. I think I got everything. Yep. Alright. Let's jump into the game real quick and see what happens. Okay, so I got my gun. Shooting projectile. I'm gonna shoot flash right. That's good. Pick this projectile rifle up. Yeah, shoot correctly. So I think we have done our job there. Alright. So now we're shooting our guns, everything's working great. Let me check one more thing with the shotgun just to make sure shotgun works, because that was another change we had. Shotgun? Yeah. As you can see, we have a shotgun. Okay. Now will he dismember zombies with our new system? There we go, zombie. Oh yeah. Looks good. Alright. So I'm gonna cut the video short here. Well, not really short, we've been going for a long time. And I'll pick up on the next part where we're gonna optimize the scoreboard